Are we live?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me log into this thing too. I don't know if I can share or not, but we don't have to talk about trading. I'll log in later. Okay. Are we live?
Yes, we are.
All right.
We are live.
All right. Hey, it's ugly old goat here. Actually, it's not ugly old goat. It's Conrad Brunn, but I am ugly old goat too. So, at any rate, Gus, nice seeing you again. Wow, what a fancy studio and all the stuff that you're doing now. It's incredible, man. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
We got a lot to catch up with at the Bitcoin house to get to this quality of production, but this is what it's all about, man. It's great.
Yeah. It's a different format. You know, I decided to have this more like it's just laid back and talking about life kind of thing, like a radio show kind of thing.
Okay.
You know.
All right.
And because I mean, people like to learn, but people like to learn in socializing and having fun too.
Right.
You know.
Well, there's a lot to cover, man. So much is happening, and like I say, I've had some minor health issues, and I seem to be getting better. I actually had a face freeze, and I thought, but I'm recovering slowly, and just all excited about what's going on, and I just want to, do my part, and I just feel like my only part is just kind of be maybe a guide in this thing, because there's so much talent out there now, and you guys just keep going where you're going. If I've ignored you, and I think there's some people out there, my wife, Goat Lady, just told me that Robert Allen, apparently I haven't even looked at what you're doing, so I'll be doing that hopefully this week, but a lot of people are out there doing lots of new things. I'm doing, my plate's really full right now, but so much is happening, and it's happening so fast, and it's, just exciting times, you guys. Like I say, if any of you developers can ever figure out a way that to make me 20 years old, I'll give you all my Bitcoin if you can do that, because you guys have a really exciting generation coming up, and I hope you appreciate it.
Make you 20 years old. What does that mean? Huh? Like,
well, I think I've finally woken up that, I thought I was in the autumn of my life, but I think I'm really in the winter. So, I mean, the leaves have already fallen off, and we're doing yard work. We're cleaning up.
I think you're in the spring, man. I think ugly, you're in the spring.
I don't know.
Yes, because you have this the wind that like you're very active.
Oh, I am. They actually have to calm me down, so that's why. Because
so
I have
spring.
To,
that's not winter. Winter you don't do stuff.
I need to have 6 or 8 hours of sleep, and I've never done that. I sleep about 2 or 3 hours at a time.
Yeah.
Which means I'll have to change my trading habits too. So.
Yeah. We'll talk about trading.
Yeah, okay, so you wanted to start out, you kind of amazed me because I want to do something. So, I want to talk about Bitcoin Nation. So let's do that. Apparently, you've already been doing some stuff on this whole concept, and you did a video on it. Tell me about this video. I got to go back and watch it, and tell me this whole concept of what you're doing in Bitcoin. What is this Bitcoin Nation? I actually wrote a statement, but I hate to get too dogmatic, so I want to hear from you first.
Yeah. Well, you remember, I mean, the whole idea sort of gelled together, and we were talking about this, right? What Bitcoin really is, and so on and so on. And I think we came to the same conclusion. Like, it's not because we inventing this idea. I think we're observing it.
Right.
We're observing it to be true. We're observing that the way Bitcoin works, the way Bitcoin is, it has a certain model that follows, and it follows the truth, right? The equal exchange of value, and everything boils down to the most basic core of Bitcoin, and is what is behind it: time, energy, right? Mm-hmm. That's exactly what we all beings share. That's the only thing that we share.
Yeah.
If you can come up with something that represents that, and you can never change that, then you can finally have that free market, free economy that based on a true exchange of value. And that becomes very personal too.
It's extremely personal.
Very
That's the whole
personal.
thing. It's just like you're trading. People always want to look at the charts and they want to be objective.
Yeah.
And so, what I'm finally just come to the conclusion is it's really not. It's very subjective, and it really depends upon you. And that's why the equity app is a new way of looking. Trade your equity. Don't trade the charts. Charts really aren't that important because that's what's going on out there. That's
Right.
objective.
Yeah.
But what's going on here is what's really the most important. And the only thing that really counts is your equity. Bitcoin can go to zero. So you
Right.
don't want to be completely into Bitcoin.
No.
But we use it as a stand. And the other thing is people are having a hard time distinguishing between Bitcoin, which we observe and we understand. But there's Bitcoin and then there's the Bitcoin standard. They're two different things. And if you want to confuse the two, you really are going to be dogmatic and locked into some things that you shouldn't be locked into. And the best analogy I can have is I think the mistake kind of comes out of Murray Rothbard because he wrote a book, The Case for 100% Gold Dollar.
Right.
Well, he really didn't understand what the gold standard was about.
Yeah.
It wasn't. And the other thing, too, we have this it's quickly dying, becoming the falsehood is being exposed.
Yeah.
This idea that Bitcoin is cash. Well, think about that, guys. Again, gold was never used as cash, except in a few isolated cases where it was plentiful, like the California gold rush. And you could be used as cash. Just very few people did it. It was used. It was a settlement thing. And that's more and more economies are going to be built off of the Bitcoin standard. This is what you've done apparently on your show. So explain that a little bit to me.
Yeah, so the idea is obviously it's not an idea, it's an observation, like I said, but I'm just like describing that observation. And the way it works is that you, as a person who lives in the Bitcoin economy, the Bitcoin that's based on the true, value that's, backed by physics, okay? You can't fake that. And now you can participate in that type of economy and think about how simple that is. If I have a person who's a farmer and it accepts Bitcoin, right? And if I have a person who is, I don't know, pizzas, delivering pizzas, whatever. If I have all these people around me, how many do I need for each single individual to fulfill my needs? And then me fulfilling their needs whenever they need, my expertise. So now we're just sharing the services with each other, and we're using Bitcoin to do it. Now, why is it so personal? It's because you don't need to worry about getting scammed. It's not like trading sand. It's always less and less and less every time you do it. It's not going anywhere. So it becomes very, very personal. Because now I don't have to not to trust you, so that I can come open to you. And then it's a very nice business relationship too, because doing business with the Bitcoiners is not the same.
No,
you have
it's
the
not.
whole personal relationship
It is.
going.
And they're, and it's not saying that everybody out there is perfect because we're all not. None of us are, but it is a new. Hey, I keep saying we are the future. We are going to be the trendsetters. We are going to develop the new culture. We are actually going to develop the new morality. And you already see this happening. And it's very important. And so we want to have a strong foundation. And Bitcoin is fundamentally sound. Now, we as humans, we are not.
Right.
So, but we do have, I had a thought coming over here, okay? I wanted to talk a little about imputed value because there's Peter Schiff and a number of other people, they make a distinction, well, gold has intrinsic value. And we all kind of badmouth Roger Ver on some things. But one thing he's right on, there really is no intrinsic value. Gold started out as just a shiny rock. And all the other uses that came up have been imputed on them in the same way.
Well, it isn't, and it isn't. You cannot exist without time and energy.
Right.
It's not your choice. It's not my choice. So if you want to define intrinsic, I don't care which word you use. There is such value that it all is the same to every single human being, and that is time and energy.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why gold is valuable, because it takes time and energy to get it done.
Well,
it represents the value.
But time and energy is not enough. We had to impute the value. In other words, when it was first discovered, oh, this rock's prettier than other rocks. And then we found out, oh, it's softer than other rocks. Oh, this is nice for jewelry.
Right.
And then we go into electronics. Oh, this is useful in electronics. In other words, we've imputed more and more value. So it's not intrinsic.
It's a sentimental value now.
Well, not only that, but this quote intrinsic value grows as we impute more and more on it. This is what's this is Bitcoin. We're imputing more and more value. That what the same intrinsicity. I'm going to create a new word.
Yeah, it's okay. We can create words here.
The same intrinsicity or whatever it is that evolved with gold is evolving with Bitcoin now, because we're constantly imputing more value, more uses, more things to do with it.
That's true.
And as that happens, and it's a natural market phenomena, people don't understand that the gold standard emerged out of the free market and free banking. And what happened was bankers learned how to create a non-inflationary credit medium, a non-inflationary money creation from gold.
Yeah.
You never did. You did business in
but
coinage.
why do you even need that? You know, I know, understand back in the day, you to carry the gold was very difficult, right? So they had to have like the bank notes, where they just carry and says like, oh, if you go with this note to that vault, you're gonna get your gold, and everybody believed that that's valuable, right? And that's how fiat came about, right? You just fake the paper and that's it. So I understand why gold wasn't money now, but Bitcoin does not have that property. It's not difficult to carry it through one place to another.
No, that makes it
without
more
even
value.
proof that you have Bitcoin.
Exactly, and that was what makes it even more valuable.
Absolutely.
But because nations are limited to territorial parameters and jurisdictions, that's why the gold standard emerged in nations. The ideal situation, and I see it coming, in order to compete with Bitcoin, the nations are going to have to readopt the gold standard. Well, how great that is. We've always wanted to go back to the gold standard, and we're going to force the nations back into it because Bitcoin's going to force them to become honest again. Absolutely. And that's what's going to create the
Amen.
Peter Schiff, you're right, but you're also wrong. You need to get, we're for it. Keep this gold standard in national jurisdictions. That's wonderful. But the cool thing about Bitcoin is we'll be glad to do business on any gold standard nation.
Yeah.
But we're not stuck in your jurisdiction if you start pulling shenanigans.
We're not.
We may be thrown in jail, but you can confiscate us, but you can't confiscate our wealth.
Nope. Yeah. Exactly.
So we'll see where it's going to go, but it's very, very exciting. So tell me about this program. This studio apparently was built because you built a Bitcoin economy.
Well, I'm building my own little Bitcoin economy. And of course, you're going to have your own little Bitcoin economy. And we're all going to have what I said, Bitcoin family, Bitcoin tribe, Bitcoin nation. And when you talk about Bitcoin nation, that is those little tribes working together. If my tribe is in trouble, I have a connection to your tribe, right? Because we all connected. And you're going to have like your tribe, and some people are overlapping, and that's what's going to happen. And then when one group is in trouble, another one is obviously can back up, and that's the nation.
That's the nation. Yeah, we literally watch each other's backs.
Yeah,
and that's the way it's going to happen. And you're going to have a morality that exists, and you saw that come into play in a sad case that maybe some of you are familiar with, but my friend, and I know Tone Vay's friend, Ben Zen, got in some difficulty.
What happened there?
Well, I don't know, and I all the details except I didn't know anything that was going on because I was very much relaxing in Bali, which was a great. Right. It was a great meetup, and it was particularly good for me because I needed the rest, and so I didn't participate in a lot of things. And initially it was just things were said that shouldn't have been said, and so I heard Vincent approach me on that, and I said, look, this will blow over, if that's all it is. And I said, just don't worry about it, and it should go away if that's all there is to it. Well, I didn't know that there was more to it, and
Right.
and the whole point is we it's very important that you have to have your own Bitcoin. I don't trade for anybody. Now, I sell my trading advice, but I only trade for the goat lady.
Right.
And it's very important that you're not. And, speaking from experience, I made a huge mistake, very similar to Vincent, but I wound up paying the much higher price.
Yeah.
And so I have a lot of sympathy for him. And I think we're all in his corner, is that we hopefully,
Right.
things will work out and he'll be able to
Yeah.
make good on things. But that's the problem. You don't want to be, you just have to be clear in what you're doing. Right. And if I don't want to have any kind of fiduciary responsibility on somebody else's wealth, and they shouldn't on me, except in very limited ways. Now, for example, I've started a referral program, so if you're a subscriber, you can actually be earning Bitcoin.
Right.
And this is how credits is actually going to be extended. It's going to start through merchants first. And we're going to be on the Bitcoin standard. And that's different from Bitcoin. If you have a balance with me, I may or may not have the Bitcoin. Well, I do, but the point is you don't really know that.
Yeah.
But that we do business that way by initially it'll be merchants extending each other's credits.
Right.
And that is creating Bitcoin essentially that does not yet exist. But it's non-inflationary because that's retired as those notes or whatever they are become due. So you actually can have a non-inflationary money creation, and that's the function of sound commercial banking. It's called self-liquidating commercial paper.
But it's based on trust.
It's based on trust. Yes, it is. And on your integrity.
Yeah.
So, again, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, so you're putting that layer on top of Bitcoin, which is supposed to be the economy, the fair economy.
Right.
Non-inflationary. Yeah, that's what you're doing. Like you're realizing that Bitcoin is Bitcoin, but then humans are humans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Humans are humans, and so it's not your Bitcoin unless you have the keys. So you do have to be careful, and this is why people have this great affinity towards regulation. I don't think regulation is necessary. In fact, I'm a student of E.C. Harwood, and he definitely thought the SEC was one of the greatest swindles of all time.
Absolutely.
Followed first by inflation, second by Social Security. Whoops. And lastly,
The staff.
and lastly was the SEC, because they pretend like they're protecting you when they don't protect anyone.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
they're only going to go after low-hanging fruit after a lot of political pressure. So that's where we're going. So tell me about the studio.
Yeah, so I met this guy, handyman, and he did some work on the studio for Bitcoin.
Is he in here
Right.
in San Diego?
Yeah, he's in San Diego.
Really?
So episode 0, I shot the episode 0 with him just to test it out.
Oh, I got to
And
invite him to
it went-
Sonata. He's
it went
got
really great.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's very, very deep person, turns out. And turns out that he has met one of the Bitcoin creators. That's his story, and apparently was one of them. And he was selling CDs, and he liked reggae CDs, but he didn't have any cash because they didn't use cash. So he paid him for Bitcoin. And that's how we met him. That apparently is from one of those, creators of Bitcoin. So he told the whole story behind it when we talked about aliens, UFOs, all sorts of stuff,
No. I don't know if I go there. So,
Yeah.
All right. So it sounds like did you talk about flat Earth too, or no?
No. Oh yeah, we did actually.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, flat Earth.
It still fascinates me.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. So that's essentially what I'm trying to do with this podcast is have fun for a living.
Right.
You know?
Hey, if you're not
Because-
having fun, don't do it. And that particularly if you're trading out there and you're not having fun, I wrote if you can't blow out with a smile, you're not doing it right. Okay.
And actually,
And you got to, and it's impossible to trade when you play catch up. And I'll just mention that too. That's where the problem is. That's why I won't trade for anybody else, because if you do, you just. I know all the if you trade for other people, it's kind of like, if you're right, it's because they're so smart, and if you're wrong, it's because you're so dumb.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's a no-win. It's a no-win
not the game.
situation, and it's just something that you shouldn't do. So, but we certainly can teach, and anybody can do it if you have the right principles, and that's where we're at. Okay.
Yeah. So the question, like the whole way you look at the trading at the market is just like, it's not different. It's I can't even explain it. It's not in the same dimension. That's why people cannot. You telling them, hey, look here. This is what's going on, and they're like, what are you talking about? Like they say, show me the trick. Show me the trick. And they don't see that there is no trick outside.
No, there's no trick.
There is no trick outside. Everything is inside. All the answers are inside. And he says, like, what is he talking about? The answers inside, So I understand the frustration, but it's like I break it down to blue pill trader and the red pill trader, and only red pill traders win. Do you know red pill, blue pill metaphor?
Yeah. I'm familiar with that. Yeah, it was a good movie.
And the blue pill can never see the matrix, man. They cannot. But the red pill can see that world and in itself.
I guess. I don't know if I.
But I think that's what it really takes. There is no middle way. There is no middle way. You either look at the market in an artistic way, or logical. And the logical way is the sure way to have anxiety, to be always uncertain.
No, you can't.
Because how can you come with the logic in the matters of chaos? You are applying the wrong tool. Hey, Victor.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, there he is. Hey, very good.
What's happening?
Hello.
Let me see how this. Oh, there. Okay. Victor, this is Victor Villacana, and he is the guy that has been working on the equity app. And I think Friday night or Saturday night, he hooked it up. I don't know if I can share my computer or not. But I'm right now. I'm probably the worst person to show you how to use the equity app, because I haven't used it, and I'm actually misapplying everything because I bought the market way too early, and I'm suffering through this decline. So, but my next newsletter, I'll outline it. I'll put some, because I don't know where you are on the equity app. Maybe you need to talk about it. It looks like it's working really well, and I will on the next newsletter. I'll take a screenshot of my equity and how disastrous it looks, because not really, because in the long term, I mean, if I was only trading 2 Bitcoin, I wouldn't have let it go into that. But I've taken so much out. I added 3 Bitcoin to the account, and I've been waiting for this break. But I kind of feel foolish because I got caught. I mean, hey, as a good trader, you're gonna make lots of mistakes. And that last little thing where we broke and came right back up, I thought that was the turnaround, when really it was the last gasp before we went to take out the previous week's low. So, but this break is the one I've been waiting for, because if you're going to go into the market, this is the time that you do it. The trend is up, you broke down, and that doesn't mean it can't keep going down, and it might. But this is where, I have to play it from the long side at this point.
Absolutely.
So,
there's no other way to play
right.
it. Like, there is no other way to play it. Yeah, and if we break down in the next couple of months, and we don't shoot up to 15K 1724,
that's fine.
then we're going to zero.
No, I don't think.
Yes,
No.
because that's where everything comes together in that one point. Everything comes together, and that's the answer. It's either Merry Christmas or Bloody Christmas.
No. I think it'd be
No.
very healthy if we. I mean, actually, it would be the best thing around because it's going
That's-
to let more people in.
That's the
And
way it
if
works,
we if we could just maybe and there's people who look at this was a big blip up, and now we're just going to slowly work our way back down to the lows, and maybe even test the 3. Hey, you know what? That's okay.
I don't think so. I think that would be not
I'm
Bitcoin
not. I don't
anymore.
think. Hey, that's not where my money is. I'm just saying, if it happens, it's okay, and you
Yeah.
have to be prepared for that. I'm
If
prepared.
it happens, like you
happens,
said, if it happens, you have to be prepared. That's why you shouldn't be all in Bitcoin. Have some other assets as well.
right.
Yeah.
But you're a foolish person if you don't have 5% of your assets in Bitcoin, because that's it's.
I would lean
relative.
even more. I would say 20.
I have no problem. Minimum of 15. I'm very comfortable with 40% personally, but that's me.
Yeah.
And there was a time when I was 100% in Bitcoin because I had nothing. So
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
all right, Victor. So tell us where you are on this thing, and then I'm going to talk. You talk about your app, and then we'll go more into the Bitcoin Nation and tell you what we're doing on the
All
side
right.
as much as I can, and we'll go from there.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, as Ugly said, I loaded the app on the Ugly's computer, and it seems to work quite fine. But right now, last night I discovered another bug. This thing is a bit hard, but and just right after the show, I was working on trying to fix that, and just when we call it debug it, but when I just thinking that I finally solved it, tried in a different way, and then crash again. So, but it's a very rare situation when that error occurs. So Ugly is using the app. I guess it's using it fine, but it's.
I'm looking at the app. I'm not using it. Okay, let's not just make a distinction between the two, because if I was following the app, I wouldn't be in the position I am in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's as I said on the cruise. It's a tool, and as a tool, you need to learn how to use it. But it's not too complicated. I think every trader could get the pace with just I don't know, maybe a couple of days using it. So because it's all stuff that we already know, but it's difficult to measure without the app. So that's what the app does for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like charting. Instead of charting prices, which is a normal chart, this is charting
You
your
gotta
own
look
equity.
at yourself.
Yeah.
Like you cannot move forward. You cannot learn by not looking at yourself. And that's the last thing people look like. If you get into trading, the first thing they want to know is all the tricks, all the quick fix and tricks on the chart. And
there are things that help you. There are quote tricks. I wouldn't call them tricks.
Those are not the ones to look at first.
No.
Yeah. And then when I kind of tell them that, hey, that's not where the answer is, and then kind of make them look at themselves, what they don't want to do, but eventually they have to, and they have to face their own, the emotional programming, all the traumas, everything, and then once you get through it, then you understand your behavior. Then you understand that sometimes whatever you're doing, that's not really highest self of you. You're just messing around out of this monkey mind behavior, which is always loses. That's the blue pill, But if you step outside of it and can look for the beauty in the market, not the logic, and you can't understand that, but not being in that. On that side, and you can't see that side without cleaning all your crap, which you don't want to face. Because it's usually your behavior that messes it up. It's usually
Oh,
that
yeah.
you're still punishing yourself.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it is. We do it ourselves. That's and that's really hard because it's kind of like
We do it ourselves, man.
Yes.
before
Training is easy,
before
but
faith comes repentance.
It's a battle with yourself. If you win the battle with yourself, trading is easy. But because that's what we're doing, we're battling ourselves. And that is why the trading is, I would say, the most exciting and best way to grow as a person. I think that's what it is. It's not to make the money from. Because if you do grow as a person, the money is going to just come to you.
No, it does. It just it will. It just it does come.
Yeah.
But you have to there's some people, but it's not just that, because there's people that become very wealthy and have very bad morality, but somewhere along the line they still adopt. They imitate what I call a Christian. They imitate the 10 Commandments to some degree or another.
Faked it, you mean?
Right, but you can do that. You can, that's by
think you
works, and that's not by that's. So yes, you can fake it, and like I say,
I don't think you can one up the universe anyway.
No.
Because if you fake it, right? If you're there because you're a scumbag,
But that's okay.
Think about
But that's what we have in the
shoulders.
that's what the crypto world is all about right now. I mean, and there is a distinction. There's some people out there that are genuine scumbags.
Yeah.
Okay, there are others out there that truly believe they have no intention. I know that Vincent had no intention of harming anyone.
No.
Okay,
It just happened.
He's made a bunch of poor decisions, and then he made some bad ones after all. The second part two should have never. Part two should have never come out. But he brought that up. We bring these things on ourselves sometimes.
We do,
and that's hard. And that's why I'm the last guy to point a finger to judge anyone, because hey, Vincent, there's still redemption out there. Yeah. We hopefully you'll work your way through this, but it's not going to be easy. Much bigger problem coming is going to be.
But you can't run away from it.
All the shitcoiners out there, and how many are going to finally admit, wow, you know what, I'm mistaken on this.
But don't we really worrying about being this massive big ship, worrying about the barnacles?
Oh, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about the barnacles, but I'm saying these people, the barnacles are gonna have some. They're going to face a very big crisis, and they either have to face it and correct it, or they can just continue and live.
Force them to do it. You cannot force them.
No.
They need to make the mistakes.
All we can do is talk. No. All we can do is be there, and give them support.
They're not going to listen to you.
No, but some will. Not all. Most. Maybe most won't. But most. But there are some that do, and
some. Right. Yeah, the ones that do, they listen, and that information is everywhere. You just need to listen.
Self-interest is a big thing.
Yeah, I was listening to you before, and I'm a bit curious about your statement of if we don't go to 15K, we are going to zero. Could you explain a little bit more of your way of thinking there?
Yeah, it's based on chaos theory, and the point that we're nearing right now is what we call a point of singularity, where everything comes into one place and the new fractal is born. And that one is massive. Okay? So it's so massive that in order to balance it out, it hits below zero or 260,000.
Below zero.
Yeah.
I was curious because...
Yeah, that's why it's impossible.
Okay.
It's not possible. If it breaks down, Bitcoin's gone.
Yeah, it's like a singularity or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was curious because I have a similar thoughts, not to zero, but I have the idea that a lot of people, it's I don't know how what do you guys think, but I think that you guys are familiar with the stock to flow model, no? the Plan B stock
Yes.
to flow model.
A little bit. I'm getting more and more familiar with that.
But you know what that means? What I just told you, that it means that if we pop up, then all you gotta do is buy the dips all the way to 260. That's the only job you got,
Yeah,
and the universe behind you.
Yeah, my idea right now is like a lot of people took that model too seriously. It's a model. It's
Which
it
model?
has a lot of
Buying the
stuff there.
dips.
Or the
You-
stock to
you
flow?
buy-
No, stock
Yeah,
to
the
flow or
stock
buy.
to flow, yeah,
He's
the
talking about
stock
stock
to
to flow, not buying the dips. Okay.
Yeah, the stock
Oh,
to flow.
I see.
Will you explain, Victor, stock to flow for the people that may not be familiar with it? Will you explain your understanding of stock to flow?
Yeah. The idea is on the SITDOWN's book. I think he came up with the idea to apply stock to flow.
Yeah, it's in a lot of economic books. It's not just
Yeah.
safe at Dean, but he did address it. But there's
Yeah,
other economists that have
to
addressed
apply
it.
to apply it to Bitcoin. Yeah.
Okay.
I know it is. So this guy, this anonymous account, do the actual math and came up with a very nice model with a very high
Yeah.
correlation, co-integration, and all the stuff. And I think the model is great. But
That's distraction,
I
Victor.
think
That's all
it's-
distraction. That's
yeah,
that's the that's the
what I
waste
mean.
of
That's what I
time.
mean. So, but a lot of people put a lot of attention on that model, a lot of money on that, and I think
Can you explain what it is first of all? Because you're
Yeah,
talking about this.
okay,
Please
sorry.
explain what it is. Okay.
the idea is that you measure the actual amount of bitcoins that are right now. That's the stock, and then you are measure the amount that is produced. Through
Oh my God! This is look. Let me just stop you right there. Let's not go there because we're wasting time. Bitcoin market or any market is not the stuff that you can measure with the freaking measuring sticks. Enough with this idea of applying this technical mind towards the market. Market is not technical. It's not based on the logic. It's based purely on chaos theory, which is intuition. So every time you come up and says, like, according to my calculations,
I think
and you say,
Bitcoin is.
like,
I think Bitcoin's based on logic. The price making.
It's not.
The
no,
price
I
is
don't
not
mean
on
in-
logic.
I don't mean in that
okay,
sense. I'm
pricing
saying-
is not logical.
I didn't mean Bitcoin is business. I mean that the way you look at the market
Okay.
with the logical mind. And I came to the point where at any time you're looking at the market through the technical lens, you're wasting time. You are not going to get you're not going to get the point. The market is not based. Does not even live in the same realm. It's the same thing as looking at the mountains and wondering why they're all not perfect. Why they all have little things over there. You see, and all these little ridges and all this kind of thing. So how do you measure that? Well, I can't measure with the yardstick, can I? There's other ways to measure it, and that does not follow the Newtonian physics. It follows a completely different way of looking at the market, and it's an artistic way of looking at the market.
Okay, but let's get back. First of all, we still need that. Explain stock to flow for us, so we can decide.
The model tries to value Bitcoin through the scarcity. That's it, and it does it through dividing the stock and the flow. But my point here is a lot of people think this model is like some forecasting tool or something, and put a lot of money to that. And I think a lot of people is going to be disappointed because, as Kestutis said, I personally believe that the moment you discover the model, it stopped working.
Okay, I agree with
Yeah,
that.
exactly,
That's
because
it.
it's not the model; it's the way. It's the
worked-
dough.
It worked during 10 years.
It's the way you look at the market, because I ca-
just worked because nobody know about the model.
there's no models, because model always changes. Like, I could give you a little model that you can use for like a month or two, and it works, and it stops working at the point. And
Yes.
what are you gonna do then, right? And if you're this copycat type of trader, you're not gonna have a lot of fun, are you? But if you're the creative trader, if you can create and you can see newly emerging patterns, over and over and over again. If you're that type of trader, you don't care what the market is going, you don't care what it's doing. You know that you're going to be fine because you're going to be rediscovering the new thing that is emerging, and you see it firsthand.
I agree with that. Yeah. And that's what the equity app I think helps you with, because you don't get stuck in a rut. You can't get stuck in the way you're looking at things,
right?
And because markets do change, they just do. The fundamentals can change. Something better than Bitcoin might come along. We don't discount that as gold as a Bitcoin standard bearer. Yeah, we believe it's a standard until, if it's not the standard, then prove us wrong. And it's very simple to prove us wrong. Just be the longest chain with proof of work.
Right.
And then you're the standard. You're the new Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And don't tell us, we're going to be. I said, we don't have to hear that. Just show us. And you know what? If you're the new Bitcoin, we'll be on your standard. I think the other thing that people don't understand.
Bitcoin danced the half a dance now, okay, and we are nearing that point of singularity. Then the rest of the dance will know based on a little move that is going to do. We're just gonna know if it pops up. We know what's going to happen, and that's I can't explain more clearly than that. And I'm not basing this on my opinion. I'm not basing on this. I'm just basing purely on how chaos theory works. If chaos exists in the world, that's what Bitcoin is going to do. And I think that it does exist, and the name of the game is going to be of buying the retracements, shorting the retracements, because it's going to take off like a rocket ship.
Yeah, I think that this move that we saw, I think it was a
if it
historical
takes
move,
off or goes to zero.
Right, and I think that this move that we had that. Again, the moves always catch people by surprise. That's just the nature of it. But this last move that we had, where the market broke, I was very bullish from 82 to 7,800, and then we had that, which is just typical. We had one more washout down to 7,300 or something like that, and then we had that. I think that was a historic move, because I think in less than 24 hours we went up almost 40%. I don't think we've ever had that big a price rise in that short a period of time. Ever.
Right.
And yet, and this could be, it looks like a lot of times when you have that happen, it's just a shorting opportunity, and we could just work our way. So I don't discount that. I don't think it's, if we go back down to 3,000, I don't think it's going to harm Bitcoin in the least, because I think what we've done.
I think there's no 3,000.
Okay.
Well, it does not exist in 3,000.
Okay. I don't know.
Because 3,000 is zero.
Okay. I don't know.
It's
I play, it can go to zero. That's only.
If this is my plan of action. If it breaks down, then I'm gonna have the exiting from Bitcoin strategy.
Well, you might.
Yeah, and if it breaks up, then I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of you guys, but I think that Bitcoin doesn't make sense at these price levels. Either is I don't know, the next year around February, I think below 7 or above.
Oh my God, guys!
Don't know.
What are you talking about, guys? What are you talking about? There is no 7 anymore. There is no 8 anymore.
Yeah.
If there is 8, there is 0. And it's not my opinion. It's just the way it works, and it's the law of the nature, and just.
Well, let me put it this way, Kestutis, I love you, but the way I see things work, that's not necessarily true. So,
there is. That's why
I can't operate in that function. I have to assume that
it is truly a cross. It's a fork in the road. That's what it is.
So you would get completely disillusioned with Bitcoin if it breaks under 7,000. I would consider it a great buying opportunity, and nothing's fundamentally
not
changed.
right now. Right now, I would never do that. What I'm buying is 8,500, 8,600, and I'm holding on to it till at least 1724, and then I'm gonna see from there. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. Well,
And if it breaks down from 9,500, if it breaks down at that point, then
I'm much more a believer. Anything you
It's
buy,
over. It's
anything
over.
you buy in here, and you hold 5 years, you're going to just look great.
I would never be so categorical, like 0 or 260. I would never be categorical. And 2 months from ago, I would not say that, right? But there are really moments in the market where we come to that point of singularity where just make it or break it. And I truly think that we are facing one of these moments. And after that is done, then back to vagueness again, because I don't know how we're going to get to 260,000. I just know that that's the next stop.
Well, I don't know, and I'll be the first one to say that. I'll always tell you whether I'm long or short, but I don't know where the market's going, long term or short term.
I told you where it's going.
Right, I know, but I'm glad you're so confident. You know what? I've heard all this before, and I'm telling you, I don't know. And that's the way. I'm not going to get off of my path. I really don't know where the market is going.
I just don't know how we're gonna go there. But it's really one of those moments. That is why it's so exciting. Because we're living in the moment where we could live in the world with a completely new economy that is borderless and based on trust, and it's for real, right? We can live that type of utopia, or we're gonna have a new world order that they would try to have. That's pretty much of what it boils down.
Hey,
to.
Gus, you got to put that staff on the other side of you. It's not in the camera.
Oh,
If you put it on the other side of you, people will see it. Hang it against the wall. There you go. Oh, you're making that difficult. Just right in front of Babe Ruth there. There you go. You can put it up a little higher. There you go. There. Now people can see that. See, now I got to.
my camera.
All right.
Hey,
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, Ugly. Yeah, hi, Ugly. Probably the first time you hear me and you see me.
Yes.
First, I want to start by apologizing to you, Ugly, because I registered for your newsletter, but I never sent the funds. Because I had to choose between Kestutis' class and sending the funds to you. So I chose to learn trading and then to actually review your newsletter, and I'll get probably more of a value if I do that.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, you don't need 95% of my stuff is on Medium, and you really don't need the newsletter. I don't recommend anybody take the newsletter unless you have a 20 Bitcoin hodl or more, because I charge. It's not cheap. I charge it with the discount. It's a little less than a Bitcoin, less than a tenth of a Bitcoin. So that's right now it's about. I don't know, with Bitcoin at 9,000, what it'd be about $7,000 or $700. Now that is a lifetime subscription.
Yeah.
As my life, not yours. So hopefully, if I drop off tomorrow, it's a very bad value. But if I'm alive for 5 years, you're getting a bargain.
Yeah.
So, if you don't have. I guess you could have less than that, maybe 5. I was thinking I was charging a bit, but I'm not. I'm only charging less than a tenth of a Bitcoin, but that's still $700. That's a lot of money. I mean, it's not a lot to me anymore, but I remember with the day when it was. So if you're just starting out in Bitcoin and you don't have 5 or 10 Bitcoin, you really don't need. You get your hodl first.
Yeah.
You need to get your hodl. You can get all the information you need off of my free material, and then say, okay, now I'm willing to commit a portion of my hodl to trading. Then you can subscribe. So that's fine. If you don't have the hodl, just hodl first, then do your trading.
Yeah, and go ahead.
So I'm doing my hodl together with Kestutis. So we're trading and we're learning. It's been great so far. Also, I'm.
What do you mean so far? What do you like? Where's your fate, man?
It's been great. No, I have faith, but
No, I'm kidding. I'm
probably
kidding.
one of the only bears in your classroom.
Yeah.
So
Well, I can approve of bear, but if you're bear to zero, then
I'm
I
not
approve
a
this
bear to
message.
zero. No, no.
Then
Oh, no,
then
I-
no.
You can
then-
build
I just think
you
that-
can build a bearish
you can
occasion
get
here
out of my
without a
face.
doubt. There's no question. I mean, the fact that this rally was so quick and so fast
Exactly.
paints could be a very. We could go all retrace the whole thing and break that low.
No, we cannot do that.
Okay.
And
It's
what I
not
want to
not in
ask,
this
Ugly,
universe.
Yeah.
But I want to ask Ugly, it's like this is a typical vicious bear rally. Those bear rallies are really
Oh my
vicious.
god.
Oh, yes.
see,
Oh, yeah.
Typically, you get like a huge move to just get everybody in and just
Oh yeah.
then everybody drops.
Oh, yeah.
It just
So what are you guys
happens all the
saying
time.
typically? You're saying you're using history and you're saying, oh, because it happened in the past, that's the way the Bitcoin works. No, Bitcoin has its own thing going. And you can observe this going. And you had the lecture and you saw it. You saw it. You saw it with your own freaking eyes and you still can't believe it. And that's what we're dealing with, guys. We're dealing, guys, with ourselves. We're fighting our own freaking demons. Because the truth is right in front of us. It's right there. It's so simple. But we say it cannot be so simple. How can it be so simple to just take this, Bitcoin and it's mine, It can't be so simple. So you make all these obstacles around you and complicate things. And say like, oh, and because like right now it's like, oh, I'm gonna convince myself that it cannot be this as good as it seems, and I'm gonna give all these reasons from the past, and this is my proof, and that's the way to look at the market, the logical way, and that's not the way to look at the market, because like I said, there is a point of singularity. And that little
right,
fractal is
let's
going to
get-
tell you the truth about
Maybe I
the
don't
big
understand.
fractal.
The $10 word is singularity. Explain what you
well-
mean. What is this singularity? I mean, because if I'm going like this, I don't get this. Is that singularity? Because that's not what I do.
I understand. But I am saying everything from the chaos theory point of view. And that's why to you, it may seem like a foreign language. But to you, Ugly, it isn't. Because you're already using it, but you're not really aware that you are. That's the only reason why you're consistently profitable. It's nothing else. It's because you can, go adapt with the market. You see things. You see what I mean? Because use your eyes. You don't read. You don't look at any other people's advice.
Well, I'm reading all the time.
Well, I don't mean like.
I try and keep up as much as I can. It's just it's hard to. Bitcoin's deep. There's so much good stuff
Okay,
out there.
but that's the part where I think that it's probably not even that necessary, And well, you asked about the singularity. Singularity is something that happens. There is a singularity, and there is duality, and there is triality, if you will, right? Because at the point of singularity, there is nothingness. There's just point of it's just there, right? And then you have duality born, which is chaos and order. That's the duality, and then the universe is born, and then eventually it expands, and then it contracts, and then poof, and then expands, it contracts, and it keeps doing that. It creates these waves. Right? And within the universe, there's many little universes and so on, so on, so on. So the point of when the wave starts and the wave finishes, that's the point of singularity. Okay?
Okay. I mean, okay, go ahead.
So all of this energy is being packed into tiny little space. And then when after that, what you see is an explosion. It's because it cannot be any smaller, and you have Big Bang. And we have Big Bang of Bitcoin coming up. And it's either going to explode to 0 or 260. And I cannot explain easier than that. It just...
Okay.
Well,
I'm not really a big subscriber to that. I definitely don't believe in a Big Bang. And I do believe that the universe is created. And as far as we know, there are limits. I'm going to say we can't see. We think it's limitless, but that might be because we don't understand. And
yeah,
that's just,
but that thinking in itself, it just beats itself up because it's looking for the limit. Okay, what is the limit of that limit? And what is the limit of that limit? What is the limit of that limit? There is no limit.
Right.
That's why it's in infinity. There's a reason. The universe is cyclical. It goes into the squeezes back into this massive black hole. Poof, it's born another universe.
Right. But all these
Born
things, I don't
another
think
universe.
is
And it just never ends.
well, I don't know. I do think that I do believe that there is an end. I believe that
There's an end of something, but there's a beginning
I
of
think-
something else.
well,
You cannot. That part does not end. The being does not end.
Well-
The consciousness does not end.
in the beginning, so the first thing that was created apparently was time, and then the rest of creation, I don't think was banged. I think it was pretty well spelled out in a way that most of us can understand. And there's also a time when it will end as we know it. And yes, I do believe that there will be a new world and a new creation. In fact, I'll have a new body that doesn't die. So these are philosophical questions. They really have nothing to do with successful trading, in my view. So
They have everything to do successful trading.
So that's just my view. So anyway, let's move on to, I will read a little statement. I want to go a little bit on what we're working on. I think everybody's going different directions. One thing that we're working on is a Bitcoin nation. I'm working with two other people, and I'm not going to reveal who they are, but hopefully we'll have something launched here by December. And basically, we just want to be curators of everything that's out there. And because there's so much out there, and I certainly don't know it all, but we want to get, there's kind of a school out there that believes, it takes the average person 5 to 6 years to learn Bitcoin, and they have to go through all the hard lessons like we've had to go through buying shit coins, and so to let them learn the hard way. I don't think that's true. I think that we can put together information in a central clearinghouse way where people can really learn Bitcoin, bring themselves up to speed within a matter of days or at the most weeks, and avoid a lot of the mistakes that a lot of us have made along the way, because I've made plenty of them. And what I've found in talking with other Bitcoiners is we all seem to have made the same mistakes. So if we can put the information out there, how, if you're new to Bitcoin, here's what we did, and here's the sources we used to get there, and hopefully this will help you avoid our mistakes. And I think we've really done something to advance the speed of adoption. And so that's kind of where we're going on it. It's just the next step of what we outlined at the cruise of the Bitcoin Nation. And everybody, like what you've done here in the studio, Gus, is really great. And everybody's doing their own thing. I know Robert Allen is I haven't been in contact with him, but I know he's developing his cartoons. I'm working with Juan Galt right now and Katie on this project, and we'll just see, where it goes. And that's what everybody has to do on their own level.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. And if I think I can probably share this statement. Let me pull it up and see what I've got. Because, let's see if I can pull this up. I think I can. I'll just read it. Okay. All right, I just came up with this very simple a mission statement that we want to be doing as the Bitcoin Nation, and hopefully we'll have this thing ready to go before the end of the year. But it's the Bitcoin Nation statement, and it's as entrepreneurs, fast track to Bitcoin by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. That's kind of what we want to be. We want to be a fast track for entrepreneurs. Hey, I'm interested in Bitcoin. What do I do? We want to give them the fast track information. And so it's our mission to bring together the very best information on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin standard for both newcomers and experienced Bitcoiners. We want to be the curators of Bitcoin content. We originate no content. Rather, we curate the best Bitcoin content available. Now, we are all experienced Bitcoin entrepreneurs, and we all came to Bitcoin from different paths, and yet we made similar mistakes in our different journeys. So our purpose is to help those without Bitcoin avoid our mistakes and to be a reliable depository of information for those already on the Bitcoin standard. And then basically we're going to support the project through donations or through affiliate links, and we'll create some swag. But it's a very simple concept. We need something that's going to compete with Bitcoin.com.
You know what you described? You described Bitcoin school.
Yeah, it's sort of what it is.
Decentralized Bitcoin school.
It's just a clearinghouse of, because the problem is you go and do Google searches and you do something like that, you're going to come up with all kinds of crap. And you gotta 85% of it you got to throw away, and you keep the 15%. Well, you know what? Hopefully we'll reverse it. We'll probably we can't filter out all the crap, but hopefully it'll be 85% good stuff and 15% crap.
Yeah, but don't you think that people who already seeking the truth, ignoring the lies and going for the truth already?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and those are the people.
Except that what you're saying is that you would like that to be packaged in one place for them.
This is mainly for it. It would be useful to have, because I don't know all every day I find somebody. Wow, I didn't know this. Wow, I didn't know this. I didn't know this group or this. This think tank even existed.
Right.
I'm finding out new stuff all the time.
Right.
And if you're new to Bitcoin, you get completely lost. You're getting all this bad information. Yeah. And then I have a delivery system. I'm of the school, hey guys, I'm sorry, I don't believe that Bitcoin's for the unbanked. If you don't have a bank account, you probably shouldn't be in Bitcoin, because you're not going to, people that don't have a bank account, most of them don't have a bank account for a reason. It's usually because, they're not productive, they're incompetent or whatever. And, if you're productive, if you have a strong work ethic, then we want to help those people. We want to help. I don't want to associate with somebody that hasn't figured out how to make a penny yet, or can't think beyond tomorrow or the next day.
Right.
And that I kind of in a little Twitter debate now, because there seems to be all this stuff going on about generational things, and blaming the boomers, the millennials, or the Xers, I don't know all the. But man,
I blanked out
really,
that Twitter debate.
Yeah, I mean, it's really silly. There's no blame game here, man. History is continuous. There's nothing special about your generation, guys.
It's the same stuff, man. And that's why it's not news. It's supposed to be same olds. It's not news. It's olds.
Yeah, I mean,
it's entertainment.
If every generation has made mistakes and always has contributed, and the thing is, whatever generation is you're in, it's really hard to see your own mistakes. The next one can always find them easier, and that's true of every generation.
Yeah.
That's why we change.
Yeah, you do need to have that witness view from the side, because if you don't have that witness view from the side, how can you change? And speaking of what were we talking about? School, Bitcoin school.
Well, we want to have an easy go-to place to get all of the good information that's out there.
Right.
And it's just it's my payback to Bitcoin for what it's done for me.
Right.
And if I can teach, it's just like one of the, I came to this space differently, and I'm a personality now, not through YouTube, not through Twitter or any of that. I started just writing articles through Medium, which is kind of different from everybody else.
Right.
And one of my first articles was how to profit.
You know how different that is? It's because people who read Medium articles has a higher attention span, so they can follow through on the things. And people who are looking at Twitter and Instagram, they have very low attention span.
Probably, yeah.
They're not going to engage to whatever you're teaching.
Yeah. Twitter's fun, though.
Twitter,
but Medium, I love to write Medium. My Medium articles.
I see like. Twitter as just this announcement thing. I like the debates, the Twitter debates part. I don't participate in those. It's just like it can suck you in, it can really take your time.
It can.
And I want to put my time somewhere else, because I'm not gonna extract anything from there.
But it is useful for quick
It's
information.
entertainment.
For example,
It's always there if I ever want to, you know.
if we
But
can tweet out one good information place that becomes known. If you want good Bitcoin information, here's where you go. Twitter's going to be very, very useful.
well, that's what I mean. Like, it's for the information, not the debates.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, it's just like so many articles. When I see a good article, I think I tweeted out several articles. When I'm on Twitter, I try and provide good information.
Comments was never meant to be having a dialogue with yourself. It was meant to comment about the stuff that has been posted.
Exactly.
But it becomes in these like
Personal things.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know if they can resolve that technically somehow, but I'm sure that they have thought about this. But that's what the Twitter is. Is either if you use the Twitter as the information vessel, you know, information point, then you're going to have a good time. If you use it as a debate platform, then you're going to not have a good time.
Hey, I'm going to have to leave here within about 10 minutes. Maybe I can stay till 5, but I'm going to have to get going. So anything else we need to cover?
I guess we need to, what? We talked about the app, cover the hey, let's just ask if there's anybody who have any questions.
Do you have a live
you
stream
can zoom in now
Okay.
Through that link and pop up on the screen. Anybody who have questions, this is your time. And yeah.
And just so you guys, everybody knows about my situation, because of my minor health problems and just because I'm behind on some things, I've just canceled I'm not going to do any traveling or any appearances. I'll probably do family stuff over the holidays. But my next big appearance I'll be at the Unconfiscatable conference with Tone Vase in February. That's my only plan. I was kind of hoping to go to the Latin America Bitcoin conference, but it just didn't work out. And we wanted to go to one in Mexico City that Bitso was handling. But man, I just have to limit my time, so I'm here longer because I do. Hopefully, I need to teach my family a lot of things before I do pass on, and. So that's where I am at. So that's my next big thing is the Unconfiscatable conference. I'll probably go to Tone's second conference on the development end. We'll probably be working on another Working Man's Bitcoin cruise and some other things. And I will be attending probably a few conferences next year selectively, depending upon where they are. The most important thing is we want to go to places we've never been before. So it's kind of selfish because I don't demand any speaker fees or anything like that. And if I really want to go, I even pay my own way. So that's not the issue. But yeah, and we want to develop the Bitcoin house down here in Ensenada, and so you guys keep in touch with me. Oh, I want to mention too, if you're a subscriber and you haven't gotten any swag, make sure you have your address on your account because I noticed we are getting packages back undeliverable and stuff like that, and I think we're pretty well caught up on that. So if you haven't got one, it's probably not because we haven't tried, but there are some that maybe we haven't sent yet, but we should be pretty well current there. And if you want swag, you have to give us. Of course, you have to. And if you don't, if you want to keep your privacy, just don't put an address down there. And hey, that's fine. We'll do it that way too.
All right. So Zezo asking a question.
Okay.
Do you see BTC as the chance for countries like Paraguay and Belarus to mine and grow? Countries mining.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see this as a chance?
No, you asking the wrong person. I don't mind talking about anything that I know about, but I'm the first one to tell you if I'm not familiar with a subject, I'm not going to give you an opinion because I did a little bit of mining at one time. I'm really, don't feel comfortable advising people on it or where it's going. I will say this
But he's asking specifically about the countries joining Bitcoin economy as the whole nation.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I will speak more on a macro scale. and that is that I do believe that the people that are saying, "Oh, Bitcoin uses so much electricity and it's not eco-friendly."
No, that's the whole point of Bitcoin. It has to cost time and energy. Like, what are they talking about? They worked so hard for it to happen.
Yeah, but I think there's another way to look at it.
Jesus, like
Well,
there's no like they code it specifically so it.
Okay, I get all that, but that's not where I'm going.
Do you see what I'm saying?
No, yeah, but
crying about the fact that Bitcoin costs something like energy and time is just whining about it not being a true.
But the economic argument that I heard, which is valid, is that because Bitcoin is actually going to reduce energy costs. And the reason of that is because of the technical aspect of creating energy. When you create electricity, you have to create enough for peak hours.
Do you know the truth?
So you have all this extra electricity most of the time, and it can be earning an income by mining.
The truth is that energy is free, and the only thing that may cost you is a little bit of time to produce the energy. So we're back to the square one.
Right, time and you might need to harness resources, but the whole point is the only point I'm trying to make is I think the argument that it's driving up the cost of electricity is actually a canard. It's going to drive down the price of electricity because what it does is it's going to drive it down because now. If you're producing electricity and you have right now, we create you have to have more electricity than what's being demanded, or you can't meet the demand. But all that extra while it's there being extra, you can put it in mine Bitcoin. So that's going to drive. It's a source of income for these power companies that wasn't available before.
Yeah.
So it actually will drive the price down.
Yeah. That's probably one of the ways of how it's going to do it. But just the fact that it creates the economy that is not based on nothing, just that fact alone, of course, makes things better. Of course, think about this. When Bitcoin came out, dollar was like Bitcoin was like a fraction of a dollar. And now, dollar is a fraction of a Bitcoin.
Right. Well, not only that, but the reason Bitcoin is because for a year and a half it had no value.
But think about that for a second. The dollar is now a fraction of a Bitcoin.
Yep. And I remember when I heard Bitcoin went over $1 for the first time. I didn't look into it or anything.
What can do that if it's not goes with already the force of nature? What can do that? I don't think anything can do that.
Okay.
That's just comparing something that's valuable with something that's useless, and that's when it happens.
I'm in agreement with. I'm fundamentally bullish Bitcoin. It's the only answer, but I can't be dogmatic that we can't break hard.
I'm not dogmatic either, but I'm saying that there's only one way or the other. There's just two directions at this point. There's no little bit dipping, below or going to 6,000, 5,000. There's no scenario that works out great for Bitcoin.
I don't know. I don't think so now.
I
don't think so now, but
I can't. What
I'm
do I
wrong.
know anyway?
I don't think it's going down. Okay, but you know what? If I'm wrong, I ain't gonna stick around very long either.
Yeah, but like Bitcoin is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is Bitcoin.
All right. So anyway, we don't need to discuss pricing or anything like that. It's just that what I'm excited about, what I'm bullish on, is the Bitcoin nation. I think that the next, I am looking that the next move will be the longest duration and magnitude that Bitcoin will have.
Yes, agree with that.
It's going to be the longest, and so these people, if you're in there, so I was talking to somebody. Oh yeah, I remember when Bitcoin was, $2, and they always feel like they missed out. And I said, hey, you haven't missed it yet. Yeah. It's just that you should have got in it early, but it's never too late.
It's not too late.
It's not too late to change your habits. Not too late to get things right. Mm-hmm. Hey, Vincent, I'm praying for you. I know I can't wait for the day we can embrace you, and help, and you can do it, man.
Yeah.
Because, I love you, even though I've been there and done that. And all you guys that are shitcoiners, same thing, man. I'm not gonna, now if you're deliberately, even that can be overcome. I mean, I did it, and I wasn't deliberate. I had no intentions of hurting the people that I hurt, but I did. I did. I paid a big price, more than anybody. Hey, I didn't raise it. I didn't have the money to defend myself. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like you guys do now. So that's one of the dangers. The best thing that can happen to you is to get corrected.
Yeah.
The Lord says, "Those whom I love, I chastise."
Yeah.
And hey, you know what? He loves me a lot because I've been chastised a lot, real hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And guys, don't mind me doing predictions. I don't do predictions. It was just for fun to to do it for the gigs and bits and so on. I don't make predictions. That was just entertainment purposes only.
It's just you don't think you can go down there, and I you know what? I can't discount it. So I've been around too long. I remember, I guarantee you, when silver went to $50, we never thought it could possibly go back below $6, but it went down all the way back to $6. I think down to $5, maybe even to $4. I don't know how far it went down, but it went, and it stayed there for a long time. Same thing with gold. When gold was there in 1980, when it went to $800, we were predicting $6,000 gold. Well, guess what? Still hasn't reached 6,000. Hasn't even come close.
Right.
And so the whole thing is we don't know. We really don't know, and it's really knowing that knowing that you don't know is a big step in the right direction, in my estimation. So.
Yeah, being comfortable with the unknown.
So,
and I guess that's where we're gonna end.
All right.
All right, man. Ugly. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Victor, I need to have you on again. Maybe when I do my next, I haven't done YouTube. Maybe when I do my next one, we'll go over the equity app, because I definitely.
I see 5 participants here. Anybody wants to ask some questions before we go? This is your chance.
Yeah, it's me again. It's about Ugly's assumption about the longest bull market in history. What do you use to know, or how do you estimate it's gonna be the longest, or how do you assess that?
Okay. The way I'm looking at it is, again, I don't see it being used as cash. It's not going to, and that's not happening. That's not going to be it. It's not banking the unbanked. What it's going to be is it's going to depend on the producers and wealth producers using it, and that is what's going to do it, and I think that is coming, and it's in its infant stages, because I don't think Bitcoin is, for example, I don't think it's ever going to be universally used by the average person. It's just not. If you're a hodler, you're going to be the banker of the future. And you're going to be apart from other nations, and you can work within those nations. And I think, again, I think that
let us know.
What may very well happen is that Bitcoin will lead to governments adopting a sound money standard of their own, which would be the gold standard, because they do have, just like gold is physical, they have physical borders, and so it's practical in that sense. And governments have, for example, seigniorage has always been the prerogative of the king. When I was a child, we had silver coins. A silver dollar was about the same as an ounce. Now the silver price was less than the gold price, so the profit of making those coins is the difference between its face value, which was $1, and the silver content. And so there was a huge profit. In fact, they actually created it by law, I think back in the 1890s, where they made the ratio 17-1, and the governments kind of set that ratio. But it was a completely phony ratio set by a cartel, and those are temporary. Cartels always get busted, and that same thing happened in silver. Of course, we no longer have silver coinage. And some of the seigniorage is actually losing. For example, it costs more than a penny now for the United States government to mint a penny. So, because they've inflated the currency so much. But the use of Bitcoin is not going to be phone to phone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think that might go a little bit farther than it has now.
Well, remember when I introduced this idea of this little terminal of how Bitcoin is supposed to be on our bodies and our minds, and nowhere else.
Right.
Yeah. So that is something that's going to happen whether we like it or not, because that's how Bitcoin is meant to be used. We just need a little terminal to, type in our biometric data or whatever the combination that we have, and it does the whole thing for us. And we don't store it on the phones. And it's in my brain, it's on my body, and it can be encrypted, and you don't need anything else. Just
how it's stored. That's another issue. The issue that I want to maybe I can make this clearer by explaining it another way. We have, as my Bitcoin wealth has grown, we have more and more people that are working for us in different capacities in different businesses. These people are not getting paid in Bitcoin because I don't have the time to explain it or educate it, and a lot of them just don't have the background where they could understand it.
That's what I mean. It's supposed to be simpler.
But they're on the Bitcoin standard because they're working for me because I'm on the standard.
Well, they don't really understand it because your wealth increases as Bitcoin goes up in value, and theirs stays the same.
Well, no.
Because they didn't store the value in Bitcoin.
But most of them, if they stay with me, they're learning new things, and their value as an employee is going up. They're getting paid more, and if we're successful.
But unless they have Bitcoin, they're not part of the Bitcoin economy.
Well, they are because they're working for somebody that is.
Which means that they rely on you.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
But I don't see any way around that. They're just, they have to choose to break out from that.
Yes.
That's
and
their choice, and that's available to them, to them.
We should meet them halfway.
Well, that's
it's like right now with the Samurai wallet. Shout out to Samurai wallet. You can create the wallet and you have back up your 12-word seed. Right. There's a way to remember. I'm not going to go into this, but if you back that seed up and you use this, it's completely untrackable. They have all sorts of ways of how it's not, cannot be tracked.
But I don't use my phone. I don't,
if I lose my phone with that wallet, it's okay because I can always back it up with the key because it's in my memory. That's what it really is.
I don't buy anything with Bitcoin except people that I know and I'm in business with that want Bitcoin. I buy coffee. I go anything. I go to McDonald's. I go to anything. You know what? I get rewarded. I have credit cards. I get paid to use them, and I pay them off every month. It's silly for me to use anything but my credit cards if that's what people will accept. And I can't afford. I don't have time to go, well, you should take Bitcoin. Hey, if you come to me and say, hey, yeah, I'd like to work for, that's a different. Now you've initiated that, and that's what this nation is all about.
I know, but you're creating your family, that Bitcoin family, what you're talking about, where they depend on you. But it's not the same as Bitcoin tribe, which is like, I'm not going to make my handyman depend on me. I'm just going to include him.
Well, they don't have to depend on me because they're free to work somewhere else.
Because it's also my job to have somebody who accepts Bitcoin to provide the services that I need. So if I find a really good, talented person, I can spend some time with him and have him for the next 5 years supply that necessity of what I need. So it's worth investing a little bit of time of training that person. Not everyone, but that person who is going to be part of your tribe is worth to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. Once somebody expresses an interest, but then you have another thing, because at what level at what level do you reach them? At what level do you teach them? and everybody's at a different level, and everybody has different capacities. There's some people that just don't. I mean, I have.
But using Bitcoin actually is not that difficult.
Some okay, but well, I know, but some, you know what? Some people are happy to just have a job and not think beyond tomorrow. In fact, I would say most of the world is happy that way. So if you're Bitcoining by itself requires long-term thinking. It just takes you have to have a long-term perspective. It's saying, you know what, I'm going to buy this and hold it 5 years. And not many people, how many people do you know?
Yeah, but the holding is also, I think you can go a little bit too far with the holding, because everybody held through the 2017, right? And they were holders, and then obviously they had to force sell at point that they didn't want to sell when they could have sold it at much higher point.
No, I agree.
So just holding on to it is not, it's like you need to have a balance, I think. You know, for example, I may go through life and say, like, I don't want to pull out the Bitcoin, because if I'll pull out the Bitcoin, then obviously I need to wait for the Bitcoin to be high at a higher price and all this kind of stuff. And then what do? You don't put the money where you actually wanted to put the money, so you kind of betray yourself following the thing that you want to do.
Well, I agree with all of that, but what I also try and teach is there's no reason to start trading until you have a hodl. You have to have a hodl first.
That's for sure.
Then you can take a portion of that hodl and trade it. Now that's a different level.
It's a different level.
But if you don't have the hodl, you just start hodling.
Yeah.
And, and then come back in 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And like once you do start trading, that means that you're going into speculation. That's the completely different world, and it's so different that it takes a certain shift, I think, for people to understand that world of speculation. But whenever you are in that trading world, every time, like what you keep teaching is, whenever we have a good day, whenever we had a good run, fund the other long-term assets, like real estate and all this business and stuff like that, right?
I mean,
because you never know, you can come to the point where those will need to fund your speculation again.
Look, I ran 2 Bitcoin into 35 Bitcoin. I've hodled just a very small part of that. Yeah. Because I've had expenses and everything like that. You know what? I had some credit card debt that I had to pay off. That's one reason we're here, is because I got to make a deposit because I have a bunch of credit card charges. Yeah. Well, fortunately, I didn't sell any Bitcoin when it was at 7,200. I was waiting for a rally, and so I could pay off that credit card debt, with $10,000 Bitcoin instead of $7,000 Bitcoin. Yeah. So that's basically how it's done. And now I'm buying again. So I don't know what it's kind of, buy low and sell high. It's really relative.
As simple as that.
So
it's really as simple as that.
And that's the way you have to do it. I mean, it's just, I was very fortunate that I caught this last up move. I always seem to get prematurely long, and I got blown out of the market, and I said, man, that basis collapsed, and so I jumped right back in and caught the move up. And this time, the basis hasn't been, I keep thinking there's a fundamental change in the market. Hey, we could go back into backward. It's a tough place right in here. I mean, it really is, but you know what? This is a situation I wait for, where we take out a 2-week, and it could just fall out of bed. But this doesn't happen a lot. Where the way I measure an uptrend, and an uptrend, you're taking right now. It's very important how this thing finishes out. But I can't be bearish in here. I just can't be. This has to be a dip, and the dip you buy if you miss the first move. And if it keeps going down, fine. For the long haul, I'll be better off because I will, be accumulating more Bitcoin. So I don't know where the price is going, Kestutis. I don't know long term or short term. Although the way I look at it is, I do know where the dollar's going. Yeah. And it's going to its intrinsic value, and that is 0. Yes. And so what price can you put on Bitcoin? There's no limit. But that doesn't mean
because you're comparing it to something that has no value. It's infinity.
Exactly. And so that's the underlying fundamental. The underlying fundamental is not Bitcoin. the underlying fundamental is the dollar.
What you're comparing to?
Ugly.
Yeah.
That's what you say, that the man, I forget that the Bitcoin has value, but man, I
Bitcoin is by the way, there's somebody asked, well, Marisol asked the question, what is Bitcoin backed by? Physics. That's the best answer.
Yeah, it's time and energy.
It's backed by physics. If you believe in physics, you better own Bitcoin.
Okay.
All right, guys. Man, that was a nice show. Good fun.
Yeah, I got to watch some of your past shows. I've been ignoring everybody. So, and I've got a lot on the stove right now. But I'm all excited about it, guys. So hopefully, the Lord grants me a few more years in here. I number one thing is I hope I live long enough to see my little girl get married, and she's 7 years old now, so hopefully that's another decade at least. But just guys, you guys, this is an exciting time. It just
Absolutely.
really is. I mean, just incredible, and don't miss out on it. And don't
Talk about Merry Christmas.
Yeah, don't lose your enthusiasm, and get to work on this stuff. And it's an unlimited opportunity. It just is. Oh, this is really cool. I don't know where. If you
Take
see
it.
that.
Take it.
No.
Take it. I have a few more.
These are really cool. All right, I will. I'll put that. That's really
Yeah.
a beautiful little piece. So we have one of those Kestutis
Yeah.
coins that I think we paid when Bitcoin was 200. We paid like $400 or $500 for that Kestutis.
There you go.
So,
There you go.
and he was put out of business. Great idea, but the government put him out of business as a money transfer or something because he put anyway.
That's why
If you don't know
I
what a
can't wait to
Kestutis
see.
is, Google it and you'll see it.
That's why, I mean, we already have Bitcoin businesses happening, Bitcoin-based business. But think about what's it like to have shares of the company when it's all backed by Bitcoin and everybody knows exactly how much is in the vault.
Yep.
That's the transparency that we haven't seen before. And,
and
that's
there's weird stuff has happened. On that
Yeah.
Bitcoin cruise, the working man's Bitcoin cruise, that really, was not successful by any stretch of the means. But I happened.
What do you mean not successful?
Well, it was very successful as far as the outcome,
yeah.
but I'm saying financially. I'm talking about financially.
Oh, yeah.
But what happened was when I started it, Bitcoin was like 4,005. So I got paid all this Bitcoin for the cruise, and I just had it in my hodl.
Yeah.
And so, by the time the cruise came along, it had gone up to over 11, 12,000, and so
Yeah,
I was
but
that made the cruise pay for itself.
That was an investment.
But it also kept people from coming late because the price now had gone up so much. So it's a tricky business, this Bitcoin. It really is. It's not easy.
Yeah,
But the more and more I'm
people
trying to
who
get
are-
out of dollars and into just Bitcoin, and that's because
there's when you use Bitcoin, it does not matter because one day I can come to you and you do the services for me and Bitcoin is 9,000. Another day it's like 10,000, and then you win, you lose, you win, lose, you lose. That's what the Bitcoin. But overall, we both win because
But
we are
people
exchanging Bitcoin,
Right. But
and that value is going to be there with you or with me, and it does not matter.
But you're tied into dollars on.
And there's
on
no
a lot
need
of
to
things.
cry.
So you do have to put I have a lot of people that I pay in Bitcoin, but it's not fixed in Bitcoin. It's fixed in dollars, and so that is a thinking that we have to change. But most people they can't absorb that. They have to be in business. You have to make that spread, at the time because that's what business is all about. And it can't be a savings program. So there's some real problems, and but there's real problems in the fiat world. I mean, PayPal has just always been a mess. I mean, we have a PayPal account. We used to keep a balance on PayPal. Now in Mexico, you can't. The central bank they make you to return it to your bank account. And it's a big. It just. It's just when they have control, they take advantage of you, and they want control. They want to be able to seize your assets when they want to, and that's basically PayPal was just maybe one little step bigger than the central banks, but now and the banks realize that. So no, you can't keep a balance in Mexico. You can't keep a balance on PayPal. It always has to go back to your bank. And why is that? Well, it's because you know what? We want the ability to take it from you if we want to.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's all. And that's sad. It really is sad.
It is.
And that's the thinking that Bitcoin's going to be changing.
Whoever has that type of insecurity probably has a small willy.
Well,
I kid. I'm not saying that anybody has small willy.
Well, they might not have any willy now because it could be, at any rate. We don't need to go there.
Yeah, and this is a different type of show.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for having me on.
Thanks.
I'm so glad we made it. Kestutis, I have to come up and see. I'm on your thread, but I don't get around to see him. I can't watch everybody, but I do know I'm really impressed by this studio, and now it makes me want to go to a new level, particularly your sound features. So.
Well, you can set this up at your place.
Great. Well, I just ordered a new computer. A guy's going to build me a special computer for trading. So if I do, it's going to have.
What's so special about it?
I don't. Well, it's going to be fast, really fast,
right,
and it have four. I could have 4 or 8 monitors on it.
Nice.
So once I get it, you can look at it, and if you like it, I'll hook you up with the guy. He's down there. There in Chula Vista.
Yeah. I have 3 monitors, so it's enough for now.
Well, I only use my laptop. You don't need all that, and I'll be honest.
Once in
with
a while,
the
you
reason
kinda
I'm
wanna
getting
look
it
at the
is
market.
people want to see that. They think that he must have all this, and you know what? I don't have that. I'm getting it mainly because it's kind of the show. It's the monkey, the grinder. Everybody looks at the monkey, and I'm here grinding.
Yeah.
Because you don't need that, guys. Right now, I just trade off of one laptop. That's I mean, yes, but it would be fun. And the other thing is too. I'm thinking about just you talk about changing. You have to always change. Hey, I'm at a different time in my life, and I'm probably going to have to adjust my trading where I'm doing more short. I know somebody is
longer term.
No, go shorter term.
Oh, short term.
Yeah, just trade actively, maybe for 8 or 10 hours a day.
You're going that way?
Well, see if I can do it. I think it'd be fun.
Oh, man.
And
but that's like, what about all the other things that you do? That's.
Yeah, I can. I'm going to have to get those. But
so you're focusing more on trading now?
No, it's just that when I trade, I might just trade. Okay, for the next 6 hours, I'll trade short term.
Oh, you day
trading? Yeah. I might just try it because I don't really believe in it.
Trading.
I've never. You know what? I don't really believe in it, but maybe I should because. But you got to be disciplined. Like somebody who said, somebody that I heard was being very successful. He would trade until he was ahead, and then once he got ahead, he'd just quit. Now that might be an idea, and if you set on a certain amount, I'll rest this much today. But it have to be a different concept because I've always made it from position trading and long-term trading.
When you're dealing with chances, the question that you should ask, how do the chances go?
Yeah, but it takes a different. When you're short-term trading like that, you really have to have.
What's in a chance that is as true as in a normal 3D world?
I don't know what.
Yeah, but there's some things are, but that's the challenge, is to find that. And you can do it when you look at the chart, you're using a lot of your intuition. You trade with a lot of...
Yeah. There's intuition. Yeah.
And I think that's the only way that we can go with the market. And the game is about how can we be closest thing to the truth in our intuition. And that is the challenge. And everything else is you're missing the point of the market. I really think that you are saying that I can one-up the universe in the games of chance. No, you cannot. Over here it's always going to be 50-50.
Right.
So what is not 50-50 and where is that? That's the question you need to ask. And that's the question that's been asking myself for like the last 4 months or so. And it leads me to all sorts of weird places. But, but I'm going to have that in my mentorship. I do have it.
And I was going to talk to you about that. That's another place where I'm thinking about going because I don't want to travel a lot. and people do want to have intensive classes. And so I'm thinking maybe we could do that down in Ensenada maybe once. And I was thinking I was going to address, Juan is interested in it. You're the other person I was going to have in mind, and then maybe we could just have, because he's really good at security and people.
Right.
So here's basically here's my let me explain the Bitcoin Nation vision a little bit again.
Ugly, explain to me this. I'm a guy. I don't know how to use Bitcoin, and I want to fix the computer. You want to pay me in Bitcoin? What do you do? I'm a guy. I don't use Bitcoin, but I fix computers very well and really like me.
Yeah.
And
I would
what
probably,
do you tell me?
I'd probably give you a Tracer and say and charge you for it. And then
But what about the transaction in the moment that we need to make?
I just let them deal in the amount that they want. And
Yeah, but like, what do you tell them? Install this app. What is that? What are the steps? What would you tell me?
I don't.
Because right now I just want to accept a Bitcoin. I'm ready to accept a Bitcoin. Help me to accept Bitcoin.
Well, there was a time when I just tell them go to Coinbase, but I can't do that anymore. So and I don't use any of those services, so that's why I'm interested in this.
No, but you don't need Coinbase. You just need to receive the Bitcoin.
Right. So
no exchange. Just how to receive Bitcoin.
But that's okay. Let me explain where I was going. There's two. This is okay. This is why I think there's two. First of all, there's two kinds of entrepreneurs in the world: those with Bitcoin and those without. Those without Bitcoin, there's two different kinds. Yeah. Okay. Most of the entrepreneurs are startups. They might just have a little, they might have 50, they have no money, they just have time and energy, okay? And so they're starting a business. Others might just have a little bit of capital. They might just have a few $100s or $1,000 in credit or something like that. That's why we need a go-to central location. Here's the information you need.
Yes, but what about this information that I'm asking you? I still can't accept Bitcoin from you. Please help me.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't have time to explain it to you.
But that's the problem. How are we going to build your tribe? Because this is what I'm going to do. I say, hey, install the Samurai wallet. They install the Samurai wallet. I say, make sure that you back up the 12-word seed and write it down, memorize it. You're going to have to memorize it. Maybe if I have time, I'll tell them mnemonic tricks of how to memorize it, you know? So then I know if they lose the phone, they don't lose the Bitcoin.
Right.
And I tell them that those 12 words, you might as well keep it in the safe, whether in the safe in your mind or a safe in the safe kind of thing, because that's essentially what your goal is, right? And then they feel safe about that, and we can immediately back and forth.
You know, I probably need that because I have a relative. I need to send.
And the reason I choose
Bitcoin.
Samurai is because they are the most honest open source, developers of wallets.
Okay.
For phones.
Okay.
And it truly is. And I mean, you don't just take my word for it. Ask the people who are like Juan about the Samurai wallet. But that's why I would go with Samurai wallet and not the other ones that are being built by some corporations or something that for the money. But people behind the Samurai are behind the Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is the information that they need. Okay. So this is where I'm going with this. That's where we want this whole idea of the BitcoinNation.org, because that's really simple information I'm not even aware of because I don't even have a phone wallet.
I recruited already Bitcoin handyman. I have Bitcoin assistant. I have Bitcoin. I'm gonna have Bitcoin cleaner.
Oh.
I'm going to have all sorts of Bitcoin people.
All right. Well, maybe I'm not, the way I have always done it. Is
but I'm seeing that's solely selfish. It's a solely selfish reason for me to do, and yet somehow I get them into Bitcoin.
Right.
It's out of pure selfishness.
Right. Okay. Well,
yeah, because it's the probabilities people. A phone capable to download the Samurai wallet are high, so it's a good choice to use the Samurai wallet.
Anybody can install the Samurai wallet, man.
Yeah.
And I help them. What can you help? I mean, they just press the button, they generate QR code, you scan it, that's it, and they say that's it.
Yeah,
that's as simple as that. And there is a person who's using Bitcoin right now. Just tell them 5 times, tell them 5 times or 10 times. Make sure you back up your 12 seed.
And but hey, and let me just tell you something. What's simple for you guys is simple for ugly old ghosts. So they had that one phone for I don't know, the simple phone with big keys and everything like that. I mean, a lot of fine print I can't read anymore. So the phones are not easy to use for
But you
us.
can install an app.
No, I get it, and I'll figure it out.
That's all
I'm
you
glad
need
to
to
have
do.
this
Yeah.
advice. This is great stuff.
Yeah.
Because now I have a situation where I'm going to recommend that. Hey, just install it on your phone, and I'll send it to you, that address. That's exactly what I'm going to. But let me go back to where I was going. There's two kinds within those that have no, the entrepreneurs that have no Bitcoin. There's two kinds there. There's established entrepreneurs and new entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs. And so the website is free and it's geared for the masses, for those that either are small entrepreneurs or want to become entrepreneurs. But what I'm thinking is also necessary are these practical, real things, people that are already established, they have a net worth, they want to put 5 to 15% of their net worth into Bitcoin. They need to do it. Once they have that, they need to learn how to manage those funds. They need to know the security.
Right.
And this is why I'm thinking that maybe every 3 months or once a year, or so we'll do it once and see how it works.
Yeah.
Have a more intense, hands-on week, kind of what was done with the
you're
the
building
summit.
a Bitcoin school.
And
Bitcoin
you know,
school.
no, it's a school, but
Yeah.
it's a school for a different
It's
person.
great.
That
It's
already
amazing
has-
idea.
Yeah, no, and we can do the same thing where they're in a luxury hotel, so it'd be fun, and and bring the best minds in and do it.
Yeah.
and because it was
Bitcoin school. That's
yeah.
so cool. It rhymes, so you know it's
yeah,
true.
yeah. No, I know. Let's do this with
Let's do this
Kestutis.
with Kestutis, man. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, it's really fun. I'm excited. I need to get back because we got a world of things to do and have to do it before the stores close. So,
Yeah.
I'm really glad we made it up here. Love San Diego.
Yeah.
I need to get going.
Let's get some. Let's shoot one more podcast. Maybe, right before Christmas or something.
Yeah.
Just to catch up on things and see what's up.
All right. Well, I'm going to take this. Since you gave it to me, I'll keep. That's really good.
Yeah.
When people ask me what a Bitcoin is, here's one, right?
Yeah.
You could
All right,
gave Bitcoin of chocolate.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
Bitcoin
Victor, I'll be on the
chocolate,
next
yeah.
newsletter, which I probably need to get out. I probably won't do it till tomorrow night. Wait for the weekly close. But
It wouldn't be so funny. You're buying a Bitcoin chocolate for Bitcoin, like you're valuing the Bitcoin chocolate
This is a
with the real
chocolate?
Bitcoin. No, it's not Bitcoin chocolate.
there are.
Don't listen to
Okay.
him. But it can be Bitcoin chocolate.
Yeah,
I
I
would
mean-
definitely buy that type of chocolate
Oh
for
yeah,
Christmas.
yeah. Put it.
If anybody's making,
Yeah,
anybody's
chocolate-
making
There are,
chocolates,
we would give.
Oh, there
yeah, that'd be.
There are, yeah. There
Yeah?
already have Bitcoin chocolates, yeah.
and they accept
Really?
Bitcoin,
I don't know.
oh man, if
but
they have,
there are.
I'm buying some for Christmas.
Wow, that would be great. Yeah. Okay, Bitcoin chocolates. Great idea. Wow.
Maybe I'm gonna have like
Yeah,
a,
found that.
maybe I'll have the
Shit.
guest who's making those.
Yeah,
That
that'd
would be
great.
cool. Yeah.
All right.
All right, man. Let's. All right. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the
Thank
next
you.
one.
All right. So long,
Thank
Victor.
you.
I'll
Bye, guys.
talk to you later. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, it went good. He needs to be taking a nap. I guess